Every one of our craftsmen makes a piece of furniture from start to finish, a gallery of craftsmen.
Over the years, many have admired what comes out of this 35,000 square foot warehouse. Some out-of-this-world furniture, mind-blowing surfboards, doodad after doodad, Christmas ornaments, picture frames, sculptures, jewelry, sunglasses, a wide range of watches, and most all of it, koa.
It's such a sacred piece of wood.
Because many people consider it sacred, M&M treats koa with much respect.
They're all different colors too. It's a light one, and this will probably be all dark.
Never cutting, only buying dead trees that have life expectancy of between 50 and 80 years and worth the wait. The really good stuff is curly koa, and only about 10% of it makes the grade.
We only choose super curly koa for our furniture, so you can see that rippling effect in all of it.
This was completed recently, a table 12 feet in diameter with 3-foot-high dolphins carved into it.
It took 4 people just to carry the top.
It's an art, and it takes artists 30 years to become master craftsmen to shape what sometimes is seen as fingerprints of nature.
You ever get your hands dirty? You ever make?
I don't, unfortunately, but I support all of them.
Martin and MacArthur, goods made in Hawaii.
So beautiful, and you don't realize how much work goes into it, really enhancing the beauty of the wood.
It's longer than I've been alive to even become a master craftsman. That's how much dedication that is. But you can see the finished product, though. It's so beautiful.
It was amazing. So that was Robert Kikawa, reporter. Mahalo for that.
All right, well, this morning's top stories and a full hour of Island News kicks off right now.
Now, from KITV4 Island News, this is Good Morning Hawaii.
Well, coming up on Good Morning Hawaii, as tensions continue over TMT, project backers now trying a new approach to sell Hawaii on the telescope by pumping money into making their case over the airwaves.
Meanwhile, as those demonstrations continue to block the road to Mauna Kea, hundreds of employees at other telescopes on the mountain are now heading back to work.
And back here on Oahu, students in Ewa Beach stuck sweating it out for their first week back at school, while the state says some new AC units that were supposed to go in are now taking so long to be installed for the new school year.
Good morning, Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. Time now 7 o'clock. And we start this second hour with breaking news this morning of accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein dies in his lower Manhattan jail cell.
Yeah, reports say Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself. The FBI now investigating his death. The disgraced millionaire was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges of minor girls, and he faced 45 years in prison if convicted. Now, his death comes 3 weeks after he was found unresponsive in his cell, and he was on suicide watch since. And federal subpoenas were issued to more employees working for the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, or HART.
The newest request is for records and testimony. HART tells us it believes the federal government wants background information and does not think employees are targets of an investigation. The agency previously received subpoenas asking for information on delays and budget.
And this week, HART gave us a first look inside some of the rail stations that are under construction. 3 of the 9 stops are almost complete right now, like the ones near University of Hawaii West Oahu, Leeward Community College, and in West Lock. They expect the stop in West Oahu to be their busiest, so there will also be a large parking lot there, and companies are still putting in bids to build those remaining stretches of rail.
And a new 30-meter telescope commercial is hitting the airwaves in Hawaii. Some of you may have seen the 30-second spot right here on our station. It's a new approach to the tension over TMT. And KTV4's Eliza Larson shows us how it features one of the master navigators of the Hokulea voyaging canoe.
During commercial breaks here on KITV4 and other Hawaii TV stations, you'll hear this voice.
Aloha, I'm Kalepa Baibayan.
And this message.
As a native Hawaiian, I believe Mauna Kea is a deeply spiritual place. There is more than enough room for people to have their own practice, cultural practice, scientific research. We just need to have the collective will to share the Mauna.
The commercial from the TMT International Observatory is to gain support for the controversial telescope project. Kalepa Baibayan is a respected navigator for Hawaiian voyaging canoe Hokulea. He supports the University of Hawaii's plan to place the 30-meter telescope on Mauna Kea, and he recently spoke on what's currently happening on the Big Island.
I respect the right of protesters to protest peacefully, but not to break the law. Everybody, you need to learn how to share the Mauna. Mahalo.
The commercial began airing during week 4 of demonstrations on Mauna Kea. The Kia'i, or protectors of the mountain, continued to block the access road to the summit, holding and sharing their positions via their own channels.
They're in the position to have to pour a bunch of money into ads, just like during the lawsuits, they poured a bunch of money into lawyers, and we didn't have that kind of money, and we still don't have that kind of money. But we're firm in our stand. We are confident that Kapoloha is winning.
Citing lack of funds for commercial ads, members of the Kia'i say they'll continue to use their independent media team to document and broadcast their efforts on Mauna Kea. TMT would not reveal their budget or tell us who's paying for the ads. Eliza Larson, KITV4, Island News.
TMT has also released a radio ad.
And more than 500 employees of the 13 telescopes atop Mauna Kea are heading back to work right now. Because of the ongoing demonstrations, they've been out for about a month now. That's actually the longest work stoppage in the 50 years of astronomy at the summit. Despite the fact demonstrators are still blocking the access road, workers now have a new agreement with opponents of TMT. They'll be able to use a makeshift side road that's patched together by the state. On July 16th, Mauna Kea observatories temporarily ceased operations. The telescopes were disabled and the staff were relocated to remote locations in Hilo and Waimea.
I know morale's up again. Everybody that I've spoken to has said that it just feels surreal to be back working again.
Yeah, happy to be back on the job there. And they say the first order of business, the technicians need to get those telescopes up and running again. Then they need to resume their scientific research. Governor David Ige also released a statement saying, quote, the interim solution for access to those telescopes is a step forward, but remains inadequate for the long term. The state remains committed to reopening the Mauna Kea access road intersection as an immediate priority.
And for information on everything you need to know about the tension over TMT, you can just check out our website, kitv.com. We have a dedicated section you can find under the News tab. Also follow us on social media and download our free app.
And switching gears back to Oahu, let's take you outside right now in Honolulu for a look at your weekend forecast as the sun's coming up. Tasia, it's been pretty hot.
Definitely. Just yesterday we did tie records for the heat for our Kahului at 95 degrees and for Lihue at 89. So another hot day ahead. We are expecting to see your temperature highs for Kahului around 2 o'clock this afternoon, around 92. So definitely want to stay hydrated. Use some sun protection as well. Our UV index is pretty high. Temperatures right now at 78 degrees for Honolulu. But taking a look at our humidity levels, it's beginning to already trend down within the last hour that we did see. Northwesterly winds at 5 miles per hour, so it already picked up as well. Our winds will continue coming in from the east-northeast, helping cut through the heat. We will see our forecast highs once again, 92 for Kahului, 90 for our Honolulu, and 87 for Kailua Kona. So those winds will continue to roll on in, giving us some light trade showers for this morning. The brunt of the moisture is favoring more so our Hawaii Island. That flash flood advisory that we had earlier this morning has just expired. As you can see, the brunt of the moisture continues to move toward the west. So improving only from now until later on throughout the day. Afternoon clouds will accumulate for the leeward slopes, and then we will see a repeat of those windward and Mauka showers later tonight, all due to that trade wind trend. And taking a look at the winds right now, 6 for Lihue, 3 for Kapolei, as well as Kailua Kona. Today's wind speeds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. That will continue for tomorrow as well, so that means some leeward afternoon clouds and a shower or two. And then the good news is trade winds will pick up even more so for your next work week, but that also means an increase of trade showers for the windward and Mauka areas. Tonight's lows 71 to 74. Tom, to you.
Thanks, Asian. Speaking of all those high temperatures continuing, it's been tough for students and teachers who are trying to beat the heat over at Eva Elementary School. Principal Stan Tamashiro sent out this letter to parents about the hot conditions we've been seeing this week. Only 2 of their 7 classrooms in the building have fully functioning AC units. The Department of Education budgeted more than $2 million for new AC, but releasing the funds to actually get them installed has been taking some time. So for now, students and staff have just had to sweat it out.
Principals submit the request to the district supervisor, and the complex supervisor takes it to the Department of Education. The department has to request from the governor for that money to be released. Until the Department of Education write to the governor, please release the money, there's really nothing I could do.
Yeah, definitely a frustrating situation, and that process could take up to 6 more months.
And on your crime watch, Honolulu police arrested 1 suspect in connection to a carjacking incident in Wahiawa. You're looking at a video shot by witnesses who saw multiple police cars along Kamehameha Highway. HPD says that they found the suspect hiding in the grass Friday afternoon. Female suspect is still on the loose. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers. HPD is also looking for 3 suspects accused of stealing a woman's car in Hauula last week. They released 2 photos of the female suspects and a sketch of the male suspect. Police say the man threatened to shoot the victim unless she gave them her car. No injuries were reported, and anyone with information can call Crime Stoppers.
And Honolulu police arrested a man in connection to a shooting at the Sheraton Waikiki Hotel this week. 54-year-old Abdulaziz Omar Al-Farouk allegedly fired his gun at another man. That man was not injured. According to police, co-workers disarmed Al-Farouk. He was arrested on suspicion of second-degree attempted murder, terroristic threats, and several firearms violations. Well, time now 7:09, and when we come back, we're throwing out some morning shakas to a Maui boy who's bringing awareness to homeless animals along with a special little treat.
And Mai Kai Google, how the company is working to preserve indigenous languages. You're watching Good Morning Hawaii. Time now 7:09. We'll be right back.
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular event, which means more of this. The kind of elation you can only experience after getting a great deal on a Honda Civic or Civic hatchback. Or an Accord. All come standard with the Honda Sensing suite of safety and driver assistive features. And as you can see, all will provide you with plenty of joy. Come be a part of it today.
Get a great deal on the Honda Accord and find your happy place at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
Mothers at Kaiser Permanente have an amazing amount of choices. Our goal is to provide women with the best childbirth experience that they can have.
Occasionally, we do have some newborns who need help. That's when the neonatal intensive care unit comes in. We have babies who are born at less than a pound. We are equipped to take care of them.
We are there for you at every step of the way.
When they go home, the joy that I see in that family, it's what I live for, and that's why I do what I do.
When you've been in an accident, the last thing you need to worry about is where to get your car repaired. So look no further than the top of the list and trust the first name in quality auto repairs, IAEA Collision Center. We work with your insurance company to take care of all your repair needs so you don't spend any extra time without your car. Great customer service, quality repairs, quick turnaround, and a warranty for your repairs. IAEA Collision Center, conveniently located in Kalihi on Kahai Street and on Kalani Street.
Most of us know that renewable energy is the smart and responsible choice for our future. High Power Solar believes that energy should stay with you, especially during a power outage. High Power Solar offers an uninterrupted energy source that will support all your household loads. In fact, it will last for days on a single charge. So don't worry and don't get left in the dark. Live your life uninterrupted. Call High Power Solar today, powering your life with or without the grid.
Welcome back. That's sound time for some morning shakas, and a school superintendent in Georgia has been going above and beyond for his students' future.
Grant Rivera, he is getting a $10,000 bonus, so he's giving up part of his paycheck to help his high school seniors go to college. Application fees alone can get expensive, so Rivera will use the money to pay for every senior's application fees who applies early. If the cost of application exceeds $10,000, Bear will pay for the rest with his own money. If there's money left over, he says it will go toward funding bus tours for students to visit in-state colleges. That's an incentive there. Get it done early.
That's a really great idea, because then you can apply for more colleges, get in more. It's a win-win for everybody.
And Google is featuring Olelo, Hawaii on its new interactive Google Earth Voyager feature showcasing indigenous languages. Check it out.
Now, the feature allows users to explore the globe, clicking on indigenous languages in different regions. It's all part of a United Nations initiative aimed at increasing education about languages spoken by native peoples. 55 languages are featured and include a traditional greeting, some favorite sayings, or a meaningful song.
Aloha. Aloha mai kākou. Aloha is the universal Hawaiian greeting. Aloha mai kākou means greetings to us all.
Pretty cool. And nearly 7,000 indigenous languages are spoken around the world. According to the UN, 1 in 4 is in danger of disappearing.
Pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. And over on Maui, a special treat for canines at the Humane Society.
Check this out. YouTube sensation and animal enthusiast Rocky Kanaka. Well, they served up shave ice for staff and some of the homeless dogs. He posted videos to share the moment with his more than 1.2 million subscribers. Much of his YouTube page is about awareness of homeless animals.
I mean, that is just content gold. I mean, who doesn't want to watch just dogs eating shave ice? No wonder either that has 1 million views.
Perfect. And coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast. El Nino has ended and what that could mean for hurricane season.
And later in sports, high school football season well underway here in the 808. Brandy and Cody have the breakdown of some of the highlights from all the Friday night action. Stay with us. You're watching Good Morning Hawaii. Time now 7:14. Stay with us.
Homeworld, from living room to bedrooms to dining, you'll find a world of possibilities to furnish your home in style.
Ready, set, shop. At Homeworld, buy any in-stock item at our everyday low price. Have it delivered and get a cash discount. Or choose 24 months financing. No matter what you choose for your living room, dining room, bedroom, and more. If it's in stock and ready for immediate delivery, you'll get a cash discount. Or choose to finance your purchase for 24 months at Homeworld Furniture. Get ready, get set, let's shop.
Hey. Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray.
It's car buying season at Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get the bottom line on the last of our 2019s, like the Tech Advanced Rogue and Altima. Hurry in for model year-end savings on our full line. Now, get 0.9% financing for 60 months on the 2019 Nissan Rogue.
Stand up to chronic migraine with Botox. What if you had fewer headaches and migraines a month? Botox prevents headaches and migraines before they even start. Botox is for adults with chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox injections take about 15 minutes in your doctor's office and are covered by most insurance.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
With the Botox Savings Program, most people with commercial insurance pay nothing out of pocket. Talk to your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com to enroll.
It's Aloha Saturday, time now 7:16. El Nino has ended, so now we're transitioning to a more neutral status. The Eastern Pacific waters have cooled down, so that could possibly mean more wind shear now, which could mean less tropical cyclones, but our water temperatures near the islands are still above average, so it could still be a very active season. But the good news is that wind shear will continue to break down those systems as they get a bit closer, but it's still a gentle reminder to get prepared and stay prepared. Temperatures right now, as you are just going in from the eastern to central Pacific, at 83 degrees. You need 80-degree water temperatures to fuel a system. So as you can already see, with 86 just right below Mexico, these three disturbances have just popped up today. There is some chance of a cyclone formation within the next couple of days, so keep a close eye on that. Over in the northwest of the Pacific, those two very powerful typhoons, that is packing so much energy, it's going to make its way all the way, or that energy, not the typhoons, it's going to make its way toward the west for our Hawaii. That's going to elevate our west-facing shores sometime next week from Monday through Friday. So just keep that in mind. We still have some activity toward the south. That's the reason why we're getting that bump, 3 to 5 for the south, 2 to 4 for the west. That will last into this weekend. Now keep in mind we do have high tide over 2 feet around 1:30. Calmer conditions for the east at 1 to 3. Flat to 2 for the north, and our trade winds today 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not enough to give us choppy conditions, but it is enough to bring us some windward clouds and showers, of course, for your morning and your evening time. Throughout the day, Kauai will be nice and sunny with temperature highs up to 88. Oahu will get some windward showers later this evening. Partly cloudy just for the Mauka spots, and then we could get an isolated cloudy shower or two later on in the afternoon for leeward and central spots. Maui County will remain mostly sunny with some high clouds over on the windward areas of Maui. And then Hawaii Island, earlier this morning, a flood advisory that has expired with the brunt of the moisture moving away, improving conditions throughout the day with partly cloudy conditions, and then partly cloudy conditions coming in for Kailua Kona later on this afternoon. Here's a look at your hourly forecast for Hilo. It will be a bit humid today due to that batch of moisture this morning and southeasterly winds. We'll take a look at your extended forecast coming up, but for now, we'll see you right after the break on Good Morning Hawaii.
Broadway in Hawaii welcomes Phantom of the Opera to Honolulu. Tickets on sale now.
See the phenomenal new production of the world's greatest love story, The Phantom of the Opera.
Experience this haunting love story now at the Blaisdell Center through September 1st. Tickets at BroadwayInHawaii.com.
Shop smart and save at FedMart's Labor Day sale. We're the only place that can scientifically fit you to a mattress. And right now, get twin mattresses starting at $97 and queen-size mattresses from $297. Beat BedSmart. Shop FedMart.
Hey. Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray.
It's car buying season at Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get the bottom line on the last of our 2019s, like the Tech Advanced Rogue and Altima. Hurry in for model year-end savings on our full line. Now, save up to $1,500 on the 2019 Nissan Kicks.
It was still dark. I had my hazard lights on.
One careless driver changed Val Tua's life forever.
He hit me from behind, and I got pinned in between his car and my tow truck. I tried to get up, but my legs were broken already. They amputated the first time below knee, but the infection was still bad, so they had to go higher. The only thing that gave me going was I wanted to see my unborn son.
During his hospital stay, Val called Levitt, Yamane, and Soldner.
So what I tried to do was give Val encouragement, give him hope.
Lucky we found John Yamane and some other good people to help us.
If you need help, Levitt, Yamane, and Soldner is here. lyslaw.com.
I just wanted to tell everybody that's driving, just slow down, move over for the tow operators, give them room, let them take you home safely.
Sponsored by Levitt, Yamane, and Soldner, Hawaii's personal injury law firm. Good Morning Hawaii.
ILH versus OIA. Buckle up, folks. Interleague play is back in Hawaii high school football. Good morning, I'm Brandy Higa. We kick off the Blitz from Friday night with a clash at Skipa Diaz Stadium. And joining me now is KITV4 Island sports reporter Cody Krupp. Cody, Punahou at Farrington. Solid matchup for week 2 of the year.
Yeah, it's a solid matchup, but a tough task for these Governors. They haven't beat the Buffalo Blues since 1969, and Punahou coming off a 40-0 beatdown of Kailua in week 1, while Farrington were missing 20 players as they struggled in a 35-0 loss to Lelehua. And the Buffalo Blue wasted no time to show what they do. Check out Noah Eldridge, a little shimmy shake, and the senior wide receiver made sure the Governors were awake.
And Hugh Brady with the handoff to Vincent Terrell. Took the opening kickoff last week to the house, 95 yards with a buff and blue.
Yeah, Brandy, that's what you call an athlete. He also caught a touchdown last week, and this week would score twice more, both on the ground, as Puno ran away from Farrington, 31-0 the final.
Time to throw.
Wyatt hosting Kapolei. Flossie and Eric may be gone, but Hurricane QB Noah Bailey made some noise early.
Yeah, how about that 10-yard scoring hookup with Blue and White, but the Sea Riders responded. These two connected in week 1 and a week 2 encore. Shane McLeod to Sage Ayala, dragging the Sea Riders for a 7-7 ball game.
Yeah, but we didn't see the end of Bula and Bailey. Still first quarter, 55 yards through the air to make it 14-7 Hurricanes. Bailey, 3 TV tosses last night.
And just enough for Kapolei to hold on and beat Wyatt 28-20. They're now 2-0 on this young season. Campbell hosting Mililani, a rematch of the state semifinals from a year ago, and the Sabres defense put last year in the rear view, stuffed the Trojans on the goal line right there.
That's a defense led by former Rainbow Warrior linebacker Blaze Soares, and these boys came in with blazing fire. Welcome to varsity, blessing Alu Alutui Olemotu, freshman with the pick right there.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rainbow Warriors. Here's a future one, Titus Atimalala, 47 yards from Blaine Hippa, deep into Trojan territory.
Don't fix it if it ain't broken. Atimalala, 2 TD catches. Mililani holds on to win a thriller, 30-26. Now let's take a drive to the windward side. Waipahu visiting Castle, cotton candy clouds, and a sweet play to get the scoring started.
Yeah, but it was the color red you saw first. Rubel had a little screen pass. Cody Marquez to Solifea St. Cohen. Well, he would do the rest. You know what happens next. A 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, not a bad way to start, but the Castle defense stiffened up like knights in shining armor. Javen Kane stripped and scooped.
Yeah, so Brandy, they actually hold Waipahu to just 13 points in the first half. Here was the other 6 by set 2, but turned on the afterburners in the second half as they ran away for a 49-28 victory. So how about the early game at Farrington? Kaimuki and Pac-5 as Sione Taufa of the Bulldogs got to chase Adani, the wrap, and the sack.
Adani taken down twice in that first quarter. Tasi Komiti got to the Wolfpack quarterback as well.
Yeah, we didn't see a score in this game until the second quarter. Jaden Mayava last year played his high school ball in the Sin City, and Kaimuki, sure glad he's now a Bulldog. He had a rushing score, also threw 3 TDs. Bulldogs beat Pac-5 34-12. McKinley at Roosevelt, who have now lost to the Tigers, minus 1 year of a forfeit in 8 straight games. And Kaneki Guzman did his part to try to make it 9 straight.
Rough Riders looking rough and tough on defense as well. Kaisen Aponte Stone coming on Keanu Pimentel like stone cold killer.
Yeah, this Rough Rider squad, they had 12 wins last season in OIA championship. And looking real good again in 2019. That was Sky Ogata to Chase Akana.
Akana looking real comfortable in red and white. 42-6 Roosevelt. Last night's final. And 8 games altogether last night. For scores from all your prep football action, head to the sports section of our website, kitv.com. And go to week 2. Not yet some great matchups on tap later today.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. We got 8 games all together throughout the state. We're going to have the coverage, 6 and 10, KITV4 Island News. Hoping for more tough football games like we saw Friday night. But until then, mahalo for watching. I'll let the captain sail us to the end.
Cody, thanks. And in the college ranks, the University of Hawaii once again held a rally in downtown Honolulu to get fans excited for the 2019-2020 sports seasons. Rainbow volleyball starts practice this morning. The UH football team opens against Arizona in just 14 days. For those that do show up for that season opener, what can they expect?
A great crowd at Aloha Stadium and a team that's going to play their hearts out, and they'll represent the state well.
We're excited. We work hard every day. We're getting into like the thicker part of camp, so we're just eager, you know, licking our chops, ready to go.
I remember the first year I just came down to the corner over there and tried to drum up support, and look where it's come to, and our athletic department's really taken hold of it, and I think the community down here has.
Also announced yesterday, complete schedule for this year's UH men's basketball team. To hear from Rainbow Warriors head coach Ron Ganat, head to the sports section of our website, kitv.com. To volleyball.
Good. What a superb recovery there by Eric Shoji.
Superb of recovery by Eric showed you. Take a look again. The Punahou product libero for Team USA. Yeah, they don't go on to win this point, went on to win the match. Americans down Belgium yesterday through 4 sets. Kamehameha's Micah Christensen starting setter. Kill in set 1. This was the first of 3 matches towards Olympic qualifications in the Netherlands this week. That was a one-handed set by Christensen. Makes it look easy. Next for Team USA, South Korea later today. And that's a look at your morning sports. I'm Brandy Higa.
One of my biggest things is getting solar on my property, and Haleakala was the first option for sure. And electricity has gone down $10 to $20 a month.
By installing the system on our house, both the PV and the hot water, we save about $250 a month, and the system already paid itself off.
Any home that has solar, when you either go rent it or go sell it, it's very beneficial to the owner.
I mean, I've already recommended it to my neighbors, so they're thinking about doing it too.
Electric bills at that time were anywhere from $160 to $250 a month.
The company locally takes a real interest, I think, in their people and their customers, and I thought that was something that really surprised me.
That's right, bundle and save with an instant 5% discount off solar, a new roof, energy storage, or a solar water heating system. Bundle any home improvement projects and save up to 10% off. Plus, take advantage of 0 down 24-month same as cash financing. Just call 808-419-3586. That's 808-419-3586.
Hey. Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray.
It's car buying season at Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get the bottom line on the last of our 2019s, like the Tech Advanced Rogue and Altima. Hurry in for model year-end savings on our full line. Now, get 0.9% financing for 60 months on the 2019 Nissan Rogue.
We're at Ohana Hale Marketplace. We're actually Hawaii's largest indoor shopping experience here in Kaka'ako on Ward Avenue. We feature over 200 different vendors, locally owned and operated here, offering a unique experience for our shoppers. We have local products, food, services. Very unique, something you won't find at your traditional mall. We have live music, especially events going on. So come check us out here at Ohana Hale Marketplace.
From KITV4 Island News, this is Good Morning Hawaii.
Right now on Good Morning Hawaii, a bit tipsy while flying high. Passenger video shows a flight attendant allegedly drunk, now under fire.
Plus, it is back to work on Mauna Kea. Hundreds of staffers at the other telescopes that are on Mauna Kea being blocked by demonstrators, now heading back to the job after more than a month.
And overnight, Democratic presidential hopefuls focus on gun control while criticizing the commander-in-chief. Hear what the president had to say in response.
Welcome back. Time now 7:30. We do want to start this half hour with some breaking news, though, this morning. Accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein dies in his lower Manhattan jail cell.
Reporters say Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself. The FBI is now investigating his death. The disgraced millionaire was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges on minor girls and faced 45 years in prison if convicted. His death comes 3 weeks after he was found unresponsive in his cell and was on suicide watch since.
And turning now to politics, in the wake of those back-to-back deadly mass shootings, gun control now a key focus on the campaign trail. Democratic hopefuls at a dinner in Iowa overnight criticizing President Trump and calling for change.
ABC's Mary Bruce is in Des Moines at the Iowa State Fair with what candidates are saying and how the president is fighting back.
Overnight, the 2020 Democratic candidates doing a round of political speed dating with Iowa voters. Making their pitches to a packed room.
We will not defeat Trump unless we have the courage to take on the powerful corporate interests.
And taking on President Trump.
There is no national security when we don't have racial justice, let alone when we have a president who is coddling white nationalists.
One after another, the candidates sounding off against President Trump's rhetoric.
You know, Donald Trump offers no moral leadership, so let's call this what it is. This is white nationalism. This is white supremacy.
So we're not going to buy what he's trying to sell, because we know dude got to go. Dude got to go.
After the horrific shootings in Dayton and El Paso, the candidates are promising change.
We need Americans that will stand up with faith in our country, faith in our ideals, faith in each other, and come together again and stand together and work together and love together and overcome his darkness with our light.
And they are demanding action.
And we need gun reform in the United States of America, and we need it now. People are dying on the streets of this country, getting killed by weapons that were made for battlefields.
Back in Washington, under growing pressure, the president is now publicly calling for stricter background checks.
There has been no president that feels more strongly about the Second Amendment than I do. However, we need meaningful background checks so that sick people don't get guns.
And Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard also made an appearance in Iowa Friday for the state fair. She's also scheduled to attend a town hall today. But Friday, Gabbard took some time to talk about health care.
How is it possible that in this country that we spend far more as a country on health care, yet we have far worse outcomes? It's unacceptable. This is why I support passing Medicare for All legislation that will make sure that every single American is able to get the care that we need in this country.
Gabbard also called for ending marijuana prohibition and to make pharmaceutical corporations accountable in contributing to the opioid crisis.
And turning now to El Paso, Texas, where one of those mass shootings happened, a florist is helping the community honor those who were killed and injured in that Walmart shooting that happened just a week ago today. They're offering free pre-made bouquets to take to the memorials and vigils. The shop says they just want to help provide a little bit of comfort in a time of tragedy.
We're wanting to give back, and we know that flowers bring comfort, and that's what we do. So it's really important to us to be able to do that for people and to make sure that flowers can give that tribute.
And Debbie's Bloomers, that company, was able to offer those bouquets thanks to the help of multiple organizations. Good to see that.
And around the nation, take a look at this scary scene. A train plows through a car in Chicago Friday. Highway Patrol is investigating how it happened. 2 people inside the car managed to escape before the freight train hit the car.
And listen to this, a driver jumps to safety as his RV plunges over a 300-foot cliff in Arizona. Take a look. It happened Friday afternoon just north of Black Canyon City. The driver was not injured, but that wreckage actually caught fire, and officials say it started a brush fire there at the bottom of that cliff, but luckily it did not spread.
And in Philadelphia, police are looking for 2 suspects responsible for an explosion at a gas station last month. Investigators say one suspect held the door while the other threw an explosive device into the store. This is surveillance video showing the blast and resulting fire. And according to police, it all started with a dispute over whether a drink had been paid for. The convenience store owner says that the suspects had threatened on multiple occasions to burn his store down.
And speaking of drinks, new this morning, a flight attendant is under fire for allegedly being drunk on the job. One passenger aboard the Chicago to South Bend, Indiana flight took this video you see there of a flight attendant, Julianne March. The passenger said March didn't finish making the security announcement and took a long time to pick up the internal phone when the pilots called for the cabin secure message. They also said she appeared to either pass out or fall asleep during the 25-minute flight, only a 25-minute flight, and that a female passenger helped buckle her seatbelt. According to court documents, March was arrested after the United flight landed and was charged with public intoxication.
Time now 7:36, and around the world, North Korea appears to have conducted a 5th round of missile tests in just over 2 weeks. That's according to South Korea's military. They say North Korea launched 2 more unidentified projectiles early Saturday morning, local time.
And sticking with news around the world, in Tanzania, more than 60 people have died after an oil tanker truck overturned and exploded. Most of those killed are thought to be motorbike taxi drivers who were siphoning fuel from the wrecked tanker. And thousands of Hong Kong protesters are continuing their sit-in at the international airport for the 2nd day in a row now. Those protesters began filling up the hall from early Saturday morning, with those numbers growing throughout the afternoon. Participants in that sit-in have been handing out pamphlets to passengers arriving into Hong Kong. They're setting out their list of demands for the government. That includes removal of the extradition bill and dropping criminal charges against protesters who are now facing prosecution. This is the 10th weekend of protest action in Hong Kong. That 3-day sit-in will continue into Sunday. All right, we want to switch gears back right here at home. A live look outside as we turn to your weekend weather. Just beautiful out there. Teja's got the latest. I know we were breaking some records in Maui, right?
That's right. Yesterday, we did tie the heat record at 96 degrees and in Lihue on the island of Kauai. So we'll continue to see high temperatures once again. This morning, it did start off partly sunny and a bit humid, and then throughout the day, mostly sunny. And then later on this evening, just a few passing showers again because of our trade wind pattern that has returned. Easterly winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. That will develop even more so for your next week as that progresses. For Oahu, your leeward side up to 90 degrees, and with those higher temperatures and still lighter winds under 15 miles per hour, we could still get some afternoon clouds for your leeward and interior spots and a shower or two. That's due to that sea breeze pattern developing. North Shore 84, windward areas up to 85. And for our Maui County, a bit breezier and sunnier throughout the day. We're just starting off with some cloud coverage over the eastern end of our Maui Island. Temperatures are expecting up to 93 for Kahului. Once again, another hot day ahead. And then, of course, there's a few morning and evening passing showers riding along trades. Lanai will be a bit breezier today as those northeasterly winds filter in between Molokai and Maui Island. On Hawaii Island, we saw a lot of moisture for your east and southeast. A flood advisory has expired, but we can expect just a few more passing showers later this evening. 83 for Hilo, 86 for Kailua Kona. Beautiful island pics being taken and sending in. If you are going on a hike for today, just keep in mind that it will be quite dry and a bit humid for the western half. So definitely pack that water bottle or hike in your morning or evening hours. Surf is also a bit of a bump. Race for the south, 3 to 5, 2 to 4 for the west, 1 to 3 for the east, and flat to 2 for the north. We've got high tide around 130 at 2 feet. Again, your daytime highs today 86 to 91 degrees. We've got sunset around 7:07, and later this afternoon, those clouds and a shower or two for leeward and central spots. Tonight's lows 71 to 74. Tamio.
Well, turning now to the situation on Mauna Kea, employees at the 13 other telescopes atop Mauna Kea are heading back to work after the longest stop in history of Mauna Kea astronomy. After a month-long hiatus because of demonstrations against TMT construction, KITV4's Monica Ala Navarro reports many of them are eager to return to the mountain.
As demonstrations continue at the base of Mauna Kea, activity atop the summit has been non-existent. For the past 4 weeks, observatories on Mauna Kea were left empty. The longest telescopes have been simultaneously disabled since astronomy research began on the mountain.
I know morale's up again. Everybody that I've spoken to has said that it just feels surreal to be back working again.
Technical staff will return to the summit first to get telescopes back up and running.
And if you want to think of it, we kind of put our telescope into sleep mode. And by doing that, most of our systems have been offline. So we have to go through our shutter, go through our windscreen, just move it through all the gyrations, make sure there's no leaks, that all the pressures are good, temperatures are right.
Mauna Kea Observatory says it hopes to resume scientific research as soon as possible. On July 16th, observatory directors opted to temporarily cease operations on the summit. The decision to resume comes after the state says it addressed concerns to ensure staff can consistently access the summit. Demonstrators continue to block the main road leading up to the mountain, but agreed to allow observatory staff to use a makeshift road state crews patched together alongside the protector's base camp. Today, Kia'i sent this message in response to operations resuming.
To all of those astronomers, all of those technicians, all of the Halepohaku workers, they have come here and they've always been accepted and welcomed with kapu aloha, and we will continue in that manner as we move forward.
Moanike Ala Navarro, KITV4 Island News.
And Governor David Ige released this statement saying, quote, that interim solution for access to those telescopes is a step forward but remains inadequate for the long term. The state remains committed to reopening the Mauna Kea Access Road intersection as an immediate priority. And for information on everything you need to know about the tension over TMT, you can check out our website at KITV.com. We have a dedicated section you can find under their news tab. You can also find us on social media and, of course, download our free app.
And federal subpoenas were issued to more employees working for the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, or HART. The newest request is for records and testimony. HART tells us it believes the federal government wants background information and does not think employees are on targets of an investigation. The agency previously received subpoenas asking for information on delays and budget.
And a lot of people wondering, when is HART going to be completed? Well, HART says Oahu's costly rail project is now a little bit over half complete. On the west side, the stations there are nearly done. And for the first time, KITV4's Mackenzie Sasko got an inside rare look inside those new stations.
We got an inside look at 3 of the 9 rail stations under construction. This is the one near UH West Oahu. HART says it's 92% complete with a massive parking lot and is expected to be one of the busiest stations. Every station has a similar style and the same safety features like these platform screen gates.
When the train comes in, both sets of doors open simultaneously. And what's great about this from a safety standpoint is it really prevents people from falling onto the track or otherwise ending up in the way of the train.
All staircases have grooves for bikes, and only the west side stations will have canopies to block the blazing sun. And each station will be tailored with unique carvings in the beams depicting the Ahupua'a, or small land division, it's in.
What they aim to do is to tell the story of each place, where the station is located, what's unique about this location. So some forgotten stories will be told through artwork.
The stations near Leeward Community College and West Lock in Waipahu don't have parking lots. It'll be drop-off only. Construction near LCC is 87% done, but out of all 9 rail stations, HART says West Lock is the furthest along at 93% finished.
We're rapidly completing all the work out here in the west. The guideways are complete. Our rail center is complete.
Construction here at the West Lock station in Waipahu is almost complete, and by the end of 2020, HART expects to have limited passenger service at all 9 rail stations.
Everybody now feels the momentum building, and we're all aiming for the same goal of putting passengers on the system next year.
As for the remaining stretch of the rail project, Robbins says several companies are in the process of putting together bids. He expects to have their proposals by the end of this year. Mackenzie Stasko, KITV4, Island News.
Nearly $200,000 are going toward upgrades at 911 call centers in Hawaii. The funding is part of a $109 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation and Commerce. The money will help call centers in 34 states. These grants are critical in helping first responders provide and quickly and to be responsive, which helps save lives.
And turning over to Maui, 2 of the island's native birds have been declining at an alarming rate. That's according to the Maui Forest Bird Recovery Project. The kiwi-kiu, also known as the Maui parrotbill, and the akohe-kohe, Maui's crested honey creeper, have declined by at least 50% in the last 20 to 30 years. The birds are endemic to Maui, and researchers blame avian malaria as one of the reasons for that decline.
And the puppy found burned and buried on the sand of Oahu's west side last month is looking happy and healthy. Take a look at this new video from her foster family.
Are you so cute? Good morning.
Aw, so cute.
Yeah, she said good morning back. Lealoha was rescued by Paws of Hawaii. When she was first found, she was missing nearly all her fur, and as you can see, it's almost completely grown back. If you want to meet Lealoha yourself, she will be at the grand opening of Aloha Affordable Veterinarian Services in Haia today from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning.
And now that we said that, I bet hundreds of people are going to show up to go see Lealoha. Right. She's so cute, and just to see how she looked before versus now, it's so great. And like you,
power of love.
And like you said, wait till she gets an Instagram
Yeah, she
too.
needs to get an Instagram.
Yeah. So does Tasia. just to follow Lealoha, right? All right. Well, coming up, it's a place that holds a lot of memories.
But now the future of Pali Lanes is up in the air as they consider options to keep the bowling spot open. Don't go away. Good Morning Hawaii. We'll be right back.
Diana Coe, weekends only on KITV4 Island News.
Aloha, I'm Kalepa Baibayan, an active participant in a voyaging revival. And for the past 44 years, I've been a crew member, a captain, and navigator on board Hawaii's iconic voyaging canoes. As a native Hawaiian, I believe Mauna Kea is a deeply spiritual place. There is more than enough room for people to have their own practice, cultural practice, scientific research. We just need to have the collective will to share the Mauna.
Hurricane season is here. We're having record-breaking temperatures. Oceans are heating up. Hurricane prediction count is high. What would happen to your home in a hurricane? Not a question of if, but when. How can you prepare? Discount Windows and Doors have hurricane-tested windows to withstand winds over 200 miles per hour. That exceeds Category 5 rating. Being prepared can save you thousands of storm-damaged dollars. Call today and save 40%. That's right, 40% discount on all Mackay Impact products, only at Discount Windows and Doors.
From beloved family, neighbors, and friends, to celebrated musicians, honored veterans, and first responders. From the beautiful Ko'olau Mountains to Kaneohe Bay. This is a place where memories, like the views, go on forever. Hawaiian Memorial Park, Cemetery and Funeral Services.
We know it takes money to go to college. Most people think a huge amount of money, but it can cost a lot less than you think. Did you know tuition at a 4-year UH campus can start at under $8,000 a year? And tuition for a community college is only about $3,500 a year. Plus in Hawaii, over $70 million in scholarships and grants are awarded to help students go to college. So maybe you should invest in yourself. Go to collegeiswithinreachhawaii.com.
Start your morning with KITV4's Le'ui Kahola Kula, weekends on Good Morning Hawaii.
For 48 years, and I look forward to see people smiling, kids enjoying just rolling the ball.
The bowling alley was at risk of being torn down when landowner Alexander and Baldwin proposed using the land to develop other community spaces. But after facing years of community outcry, A&B now say it's considering all options.
We are very committed to listening to the community, understanding their interests and their needs. They really want to preserve the character of their community. Many people also want to see bowling remain.
Arthur Mercado owns and manages the alley. He says one of his concerns is a lack of clarity on what happens after the lease is up next January. He says he needs a longer lease because repairs and maintenance at the facility take time and money.
Seems that people in business really forget that the community makes a lot of difference.
A&B claims it offered to continue the lease as they tried to figure out what to do with the facility. It also has to assess the economic sustainability of the business, but also consider the history of how other bowling businesses struggled in Hawaii.
We have to be responsible and make sure we've considered all of the available possibilities. So that's why we're going to be reaching out to other potential bowling operators to, see what options are available.
For now, both sides are back on the bargaining table to discuss the future of this historic neighborhood business.
Nicole Tam, KITV4 Island News.
Yeah, bowling is always a lot of fun. I was saying I do like that guy where you try and lean and guide it, and hopefully the left. Yeah, but otherwise you just put up the bumpers.
That's right. And Alexander Baldwin seemed to love Kailua because they also announced earlier this month that they'll be renovating Aikahi Shopping Center in Kailua as well.
Interesting. A lot going on in Kailua.
And a lot going on out with weather. We are taking a look at our forecast for today. The good news is the trade winds have returned and a lot of moisture continuing to move through the south of our Hawaii island. So we do have raised humidity levels there, a disturbance just over on the eastern end. That will clear up quite quickly, but a lot of that moisture is also responsible because it is coming in from those trade winds. So the trade winds are responsible for a lot of that moisture. We did have a flood advisory earlier this morning for the east and southeast, picking up about an inch of rain per hour. That has expired, so improving conditions throughout the day. We could still see some partly cloudy conditions for Hilo, Hawaii throughout your Saturday. But this afternoon, some of those clouds focused over leeward areas with the lighter trade winds we are getting. The it is good that the trade winds are coming in because it's helping our humidity levels go back down. So we are seeing right now 7 for Lanai, 6-mile-per-hour winds for our Lihue. That's going to continue today, tonight, and tomorrow. And then by our next work week, that's going to enhance just a bit more, an uptick of those winds. That's going to help cut through the heat, definitely. Also, we're looking at our surf forecast. Calmer conditions for the north coming in flat to 2. We are seeing 1 to 3 for the east, 3 to 5 for the south, so that's a nice bump there, and 2 to 4 for the west. Now, west-facing shores could elevate just a bit more by Monday through Friday. That's associated with the 2 typhoons in the northwest Pacific. We also have a high tide around 2.15 feet. That's at 1:30 later on this afternoon, so we're going to see a lot of those tides come up shore. You definitely want to keep your eyes out for your keiki. Our low tide, we're just passing through that now. Our next low tide around 8:53 later this evening. Now, your extended forecast, we are showing those trade winds here for today and here to stay, only getting better for your next work week. Lower humidity chances for today and tomorrow, but an enhance of windward clouds and showers for your morning and evening time will roll in, correlating with, as you can see, how our winds start to strengthen as well. Temperature highs won't change as much, 86 to 91. Tonight's lows 71 to 74. Tonight's sunset around 7:07, and we'll take a look back one more time at your weekend forecast and what we can expect for your next work week after this. But for now, the time now 7:53. We'll see you after the break.
Start your day with KITV4's Maleko McDonald. Weekdays on Good Morning Hawaii.
Ready for your next adventure? Let JTV USA give you exclusive access to the best travel packages for Kama'aina for all types of travel. Flight, hotels, and tours. Custom packages to fit any of your travel needs. Official travel agency of the UH Athletics Department. Join us for the UH Rainbow Football Tour. Stop by our Ala Moana office and just tell us where you want to go. We'll handle the rest. JTB USA. Perfect moments, always.
It's the Everything Sleep Sale, happening now at Slumber World. At Slumber World, you'll find everything you need for the best sleep of your life. Brand name beds from Serta Eye Comfort, Beauty Rest and Beauty Rest Black, Tempur-Pedic, and more. Plus, get a free bed frame or $100 off accessories to enhance your sleep. Everything you need to get your best night's sleep is happening now. The Everything Sleep Sale at Slumber World, your locally owned mattress store, serving all of Hawaii.
One of my biggest things is getting solar on my property, and Haleakala was the first option for sure, and electricity has gone down $10 to $20 a month.
By installing the system on our house, both the PV and the hot water, we save about $250 a month, and the system already paid itself off.
Any home that has solar, when you either go rent it or go sell it, it's very beneficial to the owner.
I mean, I've already recommended it to my neighbors, so they're thinking about doing it too.
Electric bills at that time were anywhere from $160 to $250 a month.
The company locally takes a real interest, I think, in their people and their customers, and I thought that was something that really surprised me.
That's right, bundle and save with an instant 5% discount off solar, a new roof, energy storage, or a solar water heating system. Bundle any home improvement projects and save up to 10% off. Plus, take advantage of 0 down 24-month, same as cash financing. Just call 808-419-3586. That's 808-419-3586.
This is Good Morning Hawaii.
Welcome back. Time now 7:56, and if you have a sweet tooth, today is your day to indulge because it's National S'mores Day. S'mores may seem like they've been a part of American culture forever, but they date back less than 100 years. The first recorded recipe can be found in a 1927 Girl Scout guide that calls the snacks some S'mores.
Always good, especially when you're camping.
I don't need an excuse to indulge on sweetness.
Right?
It's every day. And lightning strikes twice for a lobster man in Maine catching a rare lobster for the second time.
Yeah, John McInnes found this purple, blue, and pink speckled lobster. That said that super New England in one of his traps last week. Those colors gave this particular variation the nickname cotton candy lobster. McInnes says he caught the exact same crustacean last October, but he threw it back because it was too small to keep. Well, this time he's hanging on to it, but he doesn't plan on selling it. He's got it in a holding tank while he looks for an aquarium to donate it to. Genetic mutations can cause a variety of unusual colors in lobsters, including blue, yellow, orange, and white. They're all pretty rare, and finding adult lobsters with these colors is even less common because the bright colors make them easier targets for predators. But I guess you can avoid the predators, you also avoid being eaten by us, because if it's unique, they just put it in an aquarium. They don't even cook it. So yeah. All right, well, before we go, we want to get a last check of your weather. Breaking records all across the islands yesterday.
Right, for Kauai in Lihue, we did tie a record. Also in Kahului on the island of Maui, high temperatures of 96. So once again, your temperature highs won't change as much, 86 to 91. Lower humidity chances for today and only will improve throughout the remaining of the weekend. As you can see, we do have those trade winds back, quite light, coming in from the east, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Today, partly to mostly sunny skies. We will see some cloud coverage for the eastern half, and overall, we will also see an increase of trade showers later on this evening, focused on Windward and Melka areas. And for your next work week, we'll start picking up on trade winds just a bit Wednesday through Friday. That means enhanced showers. Also for your surf, again, for the south, 3 to 5. West, we're seeing 2 to 4. And then your high tide is around 1:30 this afternoon, just a bit over 2 feet.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you. Go out and enjoy it. Happy weekend. Thanks for joining us. Our next newscast will be tonight at 5.
Experience the bold, crispy, mouth-watering flavors Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen is serving up in each and every bite, providing closed captioning for KITV4 Island News.
Shop smart and save at Bedmart's Labor Day sale. We're the only place that can scientifically fit you to a mattress. And right now, get twin mattresses starting at $97 and queen-size mattresses from $297. Beat BedSmart. Shop Bedmart.
It's just really heart-wrenching when you know that you need help and nobody wants to give it to you. When you have just experienced something that's been really traumatizing. When you find that one person who gives you that dignity that you have within yourself, then that makes you feel like, wow, there's people out there that really care. And that was Glenn Honda.
Hey. Really? Hi, guys.
We like the gray.
It's car buying season at Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get the bottom line on the last of our 2019s, like the Tech Advanced Rogue and Altima. Hurry in for model year-end savings on our full line. Now, get 0.9% financing for 60